In this video, I'm going to show you the steps you're going to take to complete this 5 elements of shading worksheet. You will be creating values, and this time you will be shading them in. You'll actually be coloring in the value. The first step is just coloring in the different values in the boxes. And then the second step is taking those same 5 values and blending them smoothly so it gradually goes from dark to light instead of one dark box and then a lighter box all the way to the white. This is going to be a gradual, smooth transition. Once you get that done, you're going to apply these 5 shades to a circle in order to make it look like a sphere. In this worksheet, you're only going to be using the circle and making it look three-dimensional, but the 5 elements of shading, you can apply that to any object that you're drawing that you want to make look 3D. So the first step is the cast shadow. And cast shadow is going to be the darkest spot. This is the cast shadow right here. And you'll color this whole block in as dark as you can. And I'm going to go kind of fast, but you can make yours look a lot nicer. In order to make it look even when you're done, if you color in different directions instead of just shading in one way, in the end it'll make it look smoother. And so I started out kind of light, and I'm gradually getting darker, instead of just trying to color as dark as I can from the very beginning. Makes it a little bit easier. Alright, so that would be my first one. And then this last one, number 5, is going to be all white, so you're not going to color anything in this box. And this all white box is the full light, and that's where the light is hitting the sphere directly, so there's not going to be any shading there. So now you just have these 3 values in the middle. You have the shadow edge, and that is your dark gray, not quite black, but your dark gray. Your halftone is your mid gray, your gray that's right in the middle. And then reflected light is your light gray. So right here is going to be your full light. It's going to be all white. And then the reflected light is actually down here. It's called reflected light because the light's coming from the top right, and it's hitting this table also, and so that light bounces back up. That's just why it's called reflected. And then the halftone is right here in the middle, the mid-gray. And then the shadow edge, right here. And right here, actually. And then your cast shadow is going to be the darkest right here and right here. So to finish these boxes, the way I do it is I get my middle tone, so I know I have my darkest and I have my lightest. So now I just need to get in the middle, or close to the middle. That way I don't accidentally make this one too dark or too light, or the same for this one. And for this worksheet, I would use my eraser just as much as my pencil, and that will help make it a little bit smoother if you don't like having those pencil lines. So that looks about right for my mid-gray. And then if it ends up being too dark or too light, I can always change it. So then I would move on to the dark gray, which is going to be in between the very darkest and your mid-gray. Alright, so if I left it like that, these two look pretty similar. So I either need to make this one lighter or this one darker, or both. So I think I'm going to try and make my darkest just a little darker. And then maybe lighten this one up just a little bit. Okay, and then the reflected light, the lightest gray. You're going to use the same concept. Start out lighter. If you need to go darker, you can. And you want this gray to be in between this one and the all white. Okay, so I go from all black to all white, and I have these 3 shades in between. And like I said, this is kind of messy, so you will do a better job than this. But this is the general idea. In this second box, you're going to do the exact same thing, but this time you want to blend in between your shades. So the easiest way for me to do that is to start at the dark end and just kind of get this mid-tone, the mid-gray, on almost the whole bar until you get to all white, full white. The reason why I do this is this shade, this middle shade, is easy to go darker or lighter. So if you start out too dark, you can't always get back to this light gray. But if you start kind of in the middle, you can go either way. So now that I have the middle, I'm going to start making the left side darker, because that's where the black starts. And you'll notice when I'm starting out, all of my pencil strokes are going in the same direction. But when I start adding more layers, that's when I'll start to go in different directions. This will also help make your transition smooth. Okay, so I'm just gradually making the darkest value darker. And then at this point, if you want to use your finger or tissue or something, if you like to blend it this way, you can, just a little bit. And then go back over it if you feel like you haven't gotten your values darker or light enough yet. Alright, so that's how you create these 5 values gradually instead of in each box. And so I probably would do a little bit more blending, but you get the idea.